Well, hey and hello everybody. Secondhand Dan coming to you again from Homosassa, Florida land. Hey, it's like 83 degrees and it is breezy, so it feels pretty comfortable right now. A little bit of clouds in the sky. It's like 6:30 at night. I'm not sure how much daylight I'm going to be able to squeeze out of this video because I am doing it outside under natural sunlight. Camera looks to make it look a lot brighter than it actually is. Hey, you see that little dot up there? I can get even closer. Still not full magnification, but it takes a lot to hold it still. I'll not blur the image. Okay, my phone says that's 20 times. And I think that's all my phone has got to give. All right, well. Okay, what I want to do is tear into something, but do a quick look around, show you what I'm up against here. Like I say, it's April 27th. I'm here until the end of May, so it's time to start thinking about cleaning up some clutter before so I'll be able to leave. Well, we're still in magnification there. Let me drop that back there. There's my sawhorse Rockwell. Jawhorse, actually. The table saw I got to keep under wraps. That's the thing. I have to wrap that up even when I go away for 6 months. I got to put a lot of tarpage on it to make sure it doesn't get any rustier than what it is. A lot of that rust was already on there when I bought it, but the surface does tend to get re-rusty, so I got to keep it covered. I don't have any room for it in my workshop. Anyway, here's something I wanted to show you guys. If you have any idea about the history of these things, I have these aluminum cases. There is, that one's suitcase size right here. And they say property of U.S., no, it's a little hard for you guys to see, but here. U.S. property. And they're not like a regular suitcase because it has clasps on all four sides. And I know, like this one up here, it's got a gauge on it. Blue is safe. Unless it's a blue safe. Again, it says U.S. property on both sides. It's got the latches on all four sides. Somebody painted this one blue, although it does seem to peel off rather easily. I've got another one in the back there. And again, it says U.S. property on the lid. And over there outside my shed is another one. So I have 4 of them. So if you have any understanding as to their actual original purpose, I know it's kind of like a pressurized case of sorts. It even says that there's a breather here. So let me know what in the comments down below what you think their purpose was. I picked them up in an estate sale. Lady was cleaning house. Her husband passed away like 9 months ago. So anyway, what I want to do is go ahead and let's tear a saw apart. I tore one apart a couple months ago, and I got this one at the same time. It doesn't work, so no sense in holding on to it. I could break it down, get a couple pieces of aluminum, make it a little easier to manage to throw in the scrap pile. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, my previous video was actually, I made it day before yesterday, so it's not that often I am quick to get another one out, but I decided let's see if we can't knock something out of the park because there's a lag where I didn't put much of anything on anyway. So I have this Black & Decker Professional. So if It's no good in the hands of an amateur chop saw. So let's see how long it takes to break it down into a pile of nuts and bolts and scrap aluminum. I think I got it and another one for $5 at the auction. So, gonna need some tools. I need a pair of pliers just to get the thing to, there's a pin holding it down in lock position. Check out this funky wrench. I'm gonna use that one of my welding sculptures. The video I made before this one was tearing apart a welder. Same size largely as the welder that I'm working with, so it was an extra welder that didn't look too good. So I decided to go ahead and tear it down and scrap it out for the copper. I'll have to show you copper in case you watched the video before and you'll say, I wonder how much copper he ever did get out of that thing. I know the whole welder weighed like 100 pounds, and it was a struggle to get it on the back of the pickup truck. Fortunately, I had 2 guys help me. A pair of pliers to release the pin. And I'm gonna need a pair of vice grips to release that pin. Today is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tuesday is the actual auction sale. I was working with the auction company ever since I got down here in December, but I got laid off. He swears it, and I've heard him moan about it, you know, for a month off and on about not making money at that Tuesday sale. But I know he's making money in the auction business because he isn't solely relying on the Tuesday sale. He also has online auctions, and I'll have special, maybe once a month, in-house auctions of antiques and things like that. And it's not like I was making a whole lot of money. I mean, like, work 4 days, I maybe get a little over $400. So it wasn't that much money. And plus I'm spending, you know, at least half of it or more a lot of times at the auction, so you could be getting a lot of it back. All right. Let me go ahead and show you the copper I collect. So that way, if you watch the previous video where I scrapped out a welder, I was disappointed that it was so gosh darn heavy. Here's the welder I actually work with, but not a whole lot of copper. This is the copper I got out of it. So when it comes down to it, you know, I had a little bit of fun taking the welder apart, but you know, there's really no profit. Fortunately, I think I only paid $25 for the welder, and it came with some significantly nice leads. I'm not sure where they're sitting at, with a nice stinger on it. So that alone was worth the $25. It was the first thing I ever welded together down here in Florida. All right, I'm going to get out some sockets. Now this shop is quite the cluster. I thought I was going to do a lot better at getting it cleaned up this year, and I haven't. I mean, I did make a dent in it, but I have not made it to where it is comfortable to be in. All right, got a nut stuck inside that one. All right, that came out. All right, fits on there. Let's go get the impact gun. Now check out my collection of DeWalts. There's 2 chargers in there. Awfully heavy. There's more chargers in there. I guess the bag weighs heavy without a charger in it. Anyway, got a lot of the 18 volts. Why that's doing down there, it should. 18 volt cutoff wheel, 18 volt circular saw, 18 volt like a roto zip, 18 volt flashlight, 18 volt impact gun, 18 volt drill. Here's my 20 volt wiggle saw right there. And here's my 20 volt impact. 20 volts are nicer because not only are they newer, they tend to have a little more torque and they're lighter. I gotta take this adapter off that I bought at Amazon so I could run the 1/4 inch octagon bits. So I haven't got a 20 volt octagon bit driver. This is doing the job. Looks like some nice clean aluminum right here on top. I was sorely disappointed last time I scrapped aluminum. They're like 30 cents a pound. I was expecting maybe, 60 cents. I thought 50 cents has been the minimum for years. But that's a nice clean piece of aluminum. I have to hold this down and reach around. Now, unless I wasn't paying attention and at the scrapyard and they gave me a dirty price, it was, fairly clean aluminum. I usually don't mess with dirty aluminum. That's why when I took that welder apart, I didn't bother to pull out the aluminum out of it because too much work and it's got an insulation coating on it. All right, what's next? I guess we get something on there. I'll be impressed if my impact gun takes that off. Here's the face off the welder that I took apart. I was thinking about turning it into a wall hanging, clean it up and wax it a little bit. I mean, not clean it up so it looks brand new, just want to get the heavy grade filth off of it. I'm thinking about decorating the back bedroom over in that place in more of a man cave style with license plates and such things. I need a bigger socket. Do I have bigger socket? Yeah, here's a whole set right here. I bought these when I was working on my Lexus RX, changing out the coils. That's a whole nother story. I mean, I did a good job, but it didn't pay out very well, even though I did a good job. Came around and bit me in the rear end. All right, let's see. Biggest socket. Oh, the biggest socket is the correct size. We have a 24. Okay. Move these tray here so I don't drop them all over the ground. I've already, the other day, knocked my bit driver selection all over the ground. Fortunately, I had a magnet handy, made it easy to pick up. What do you think? Is this going to remove it? Got the big battery on it. Comment down below, say, it ain't gonna happen, or, oh yeah, easy peasy. Okay, engage. Oh, that's a 1/2 inch drive, duh. Need an adapter. Hey, me, I'm always willing to adapt. If my tool selection is. Okay, that goes the wrong way, that adapter. All right, well, hang on. All right, well, just to save some time, I don't see that adapter. I want to keep looking and looking. I'm not even sure absolutely that I've had one. This has only been my tool setup for going on 3 years down here, so it's not like my tool setup back in Pittsburgh, which I've had for like 20 years. So I'm going to go with the breaker bar. I'm disappointed I don't have the adapter because I'd like to be impressed and have this take it off. I can't say for sure it would. Let's see. Oh, it would have taken it off. There's hardly that much torque on this. Now I can even operate it like a screwdriver. I thought something like that was going to happen. I just knew I didn't want to be in the way of it. Makes for good video. You ever watch those guys taking off those coil springs sometimes on the YouTube, and those guys are nuts. They'll like turn their head to one side and take their chances. But I didn't expect it to, I thought maybe it was just going to fall off onto the table. I never expected it to do a big flip. And the funny thing is that the bolt's still in place. I guess it took off enough tension off the spring, but I thought that most of the tension was off the spring because it was in the open position, the saw. That would be mild pressure, but I guess backing it off, spring had a little more to give. I should have got the ratchet if I know I was going to crank this easy. Getting tired of doing this. Okay, the bolt is out. That is one honking big bolt. And here's the spring that was wound up in there. All right, well, one piece at a time, put this one on the ground. Of course, it wanted to be on the ground anyway. So you have to be a professional to use this. It didn't say you had to be a professional to take it apart. Now I'm a bit flummoxed. The arbor that holds the saw blade is just like up against the, well, I actually have a notch cut in it. That's how close it is. There's a notch in there for the arbor. Okay, now how do I get in here? There's a red lever. I assume it's a lever. So yeah, there's just one of them. Is that holding it locked in so it'll pivot? Well, I need vice grips because nothing's happening when I tug on it with my fingers. Definitely it's rocking back and forth, but I think there's no thumb screws on it or anything like that, so I would assume it was a pull out. Could be a push in. Feels fairly loose. All right, well, let me take the vice grips off and see if it pushes in. It pushes in. Okay, now with it pushed in, what gives next? Something's got to pivot. Now there's a wing nut on top of here. That's part of the dealio to get the to the saw blade if it had one on there. Okay. I'm not sure what this... Oh, that had nothing to do with this. That was to, I think, lock the saw blade in place so you could tighten the nut. Looks like a chainsaw now. I'm going to need a Phillips screwdriver, or a screwdriver bit. There we go. Inside my impact. So I get to put back the adapter. Okay. Adapter, where are you? Are you in the ground? I'm finding some stuff on the ground, but that ain't it. Oh, there it is. Mounts to my 3/8 impact and holds a 1/4 inch. I'm calling them, are they 1/4 inch bits? I've always called them 1/4 inch bits. Okay. This is what I had to pick up off the ground the other day. Generally, I don't keep this particular set in there, but... And I'm missing one of these. It's been missing for a month now. And it's one of those dealios where I went to put it back within maybe a couple hours after having used it, and I couldn't find it. I can understand if I forgot to put it back for a week or so and not being able to remember where it was, but it's like, it's been a couple hours. Let me find that and put it away. I never did find it. Okay, I need a Phillips. And get you in closer. Okay, they didn't resist at all. At least the first one hasn't. Nor is the second one. Nor is the third one. Okay, there's only 3 holding something on. Reverse thread right here. Good to save these washers. Sometimes they work on your smaller grinders. And some heavy gauge ones too. More Phillips screws on this side. I've already got 2 chop saws that work. I got a nice, what is it? The big green one, Hitachi, that I bought at a yard or a flea market. And no sooner I got it home, though, I noticed it was missing the lever in the back to lock the angle of the saw. So the guy would not. I had his phone number and everything. It seemed like a decent sort, flying the American flag and everything like that. And he refused to take it back to accommodate me. But I was able to trace down enough of a part on one of the websites that so now I have a locking bolt in there. I think you use a wrench with that bolt, but it's a special bolt. A lot of screws. Let's get them all. And I have a smaller, I think it's maybe a quarter cable. I saw something on the other day. One of those yard sale people. I'm one of those yard sale people. I just don't post videos about it, but they posted a video about their finds, and one of his finds was a quarter cable router. I'm thinking, it's just another power tool, electric plug-in power tool. It is worth $100. Because I know at the auction, most of our power tools go anywhere from $5 to $20, unless they're like brand new, laid out in the case and the special purpose. But I said, okay, well, I know I'll keep my eye out for the porter cables now, because I've probably been overlooking them. Okay, it wants to come off, it wants to stay on. Oh, maybe because I missed a couple screws up here yet. Yeah, I know I'm great at taking them apart, and if this was a repair, I could get it back together. I've done repairs. I might have been a little more sanitary working conditions to do it. These are all machine thread, so that means there's a nut somewhere on the other side. Well, there's around the motor, they're machine thread. So there's a nut somewhere internally. Actually, this case is threaded for them. All right. Now I've got, I'm going to say my armatures and my windings. I know at scrapyards they will give you a special price for motors. So is this still, at this point you break it down this far, is it considered a motor? Like, do I really need to try and get the windings out of there? Or can I just take it, yeah, take it to them as a motor? Nice cord on here. So I'll go ahead and I'll snip it off right here. And that way I'll have the cord. These go in the trash can. I need a snipper. They call him Snipper. Snipper, faster than lightning. Anybody know what that tune's from? If you do, you're my age. There's my side cutters. Well, this feels beautiful right now. But like I say, we're losing daylight fast. Now there's two more screws on the back side of this. I can release them and see if the windings fall out. Used to save all my screws. I'm tired of saving screws. Especially with the smaller workshop here. Okay. And just knock the back off. Let's see, I'm going to go for the 2-pointer. You see the trash can over there? Right there. While I choke, I gotta watch I don't hit the top of the awning. So it's not as easily as just getting some air on it and have it fall down. Oh, right off the rim. Okay. That winding doesn't look too happy. Oh, there's some brush holders there. All right, it can stay inside. And this armature, I'm going to leave the fan on it. They give me nothing at the scrapyard for it. I think they'll at least give me motor prices. Now this could be aluminum, but I'm going to have to clean it up a little more. Got to get this off of there. See, the motor was the spline goes in there. Yeah. So it's a pinion type motor, or gear driven. See, I'm turning the motor one way, and the shaft for the blade is turned the other way. Okay, so I took the screws off of this thing already, so what's holding it on there? Let's try some she-bop. Sounds like something flew out. It is moving, yep. Got a big gap in there. Oh, it pulled itself back in. You wouldn't expect there to be that kind of tension to, oh, okay, it was the grease. The grease was pulling it back in. So that's scrap iron right there. Now I've got a little pile of scrap iron. My last scrap iron I dropped off at the auction for their regular scrapper to pick up, but it's probably just as convenient for me to drop it off at the scrap yard myself. Although, you know, there's probably $10 worth of scrap for. I wonder what the prices are like now. Since, has it gone up since this Iran war thing? I thought I scrapped the aluminum during, not too far into the Iran war. So, the stud doesn't want to move. You know, I'm doing all this so I can get a clean $2 piece of aluminum. That's not really my purpose, though. My purpose is just for the therapy of disassembling something. And it's kind of like building a jigsaw puzzle in reverse and taking a jigsaw puzzle apart piece by piece. Although that would be easy, though. Okay, it's more like taking a model, like one of those car models or something like that, or airplane model, and taking it apart piece by piece. Yeah, that stud's in there really good. It don't want to de-stud. That's a shame, because this feels heavy-ish. All right, well, there's 2 screws on here. Moving my microphone. I think it's probably been too close to my chin for too long. I apologize if there's some rubby noises. My last video, I didn't have it. I've searched for the thing for days, and I finally found it. And the person who shall remain nameless is probably one responsible for where I found it and not remembering it was placed there. Okay, so this would be a clean piece of aluminum if I get this red spring knob off of it. And I'm thinking that's just a, maybe it was originally just a force fit. So if I crack it with a hammer, it'll be an unforced fit. Okay, my standard size claw hammer is in the house. So now I guess I'll use this kid size version and see what happens. See if I can crack it and if it releases it. It's getting a little bit loud. Hold on. All right, it turns out that hammering with this did not shatter it and release it. But it did jam it down there. And once it got jammed down there, I'm thinking, it's possible this was threaded on there. It was. So it was sticking out. And I got a pair of vice grips on there. And fortunately, this end did not turn. And I was able to unthread it. So now, if I pry this back up, that should relieve it, so I have a clean piece of scrap metal here. Ah, it shot out. There we go. There's the spring and the red button. Ugh. And so the only other thing, I got to take out this screw here, and that'll be a clean piece of scrap metal. Now if I had my trusty torch handy, I would heat this stud up on this and put the vice grips on it again, see if that doesn't free it up. But the torch I have in the shed, it's an oldie. I mean, it looks like it's from 1980. And I can get it lit, but it likes to blow out. It's got a strong flame on it, so I don't know why it likes to blow out. There's no breeze on it. Okay. Well, we have just made some clean aluminum scrap there. Let me try one more time with the vice grips on this unit here. Yeah, it's turning. All right, well, I think we pretty much got this thing largely broken down here. Oop, bong, El Kabong. All right, well, I have the base. Got to break it down some more. I clear off some of this garbage. I said I'm done saving screws. If I get in jam for a screw, I guess I'll just have to go down to the hardware store. And how often is that going to happen? Once every other month. I mean, I got a nice selection in the shed. It's not like I don't have anything. That's the sound of the trash. Okay, let's see if I can make up for that other missed shot. Oh wait, no, I was going to say I was going to throw this in, but no, that's still got the windings in it. So I'm looking for motor price on that. And I'll show you my scrap pile. Well, if we're going over to the scrap pile, I may as well take a couple of things with me. Oh, the shutter slid closed. There we go. Sorry about that. There's no shortage of projects. That shed is sitting at a slight angle. I need to jack it up and level it out again. But I'm lacking some of my motivation. So here's where I'm putting the aluminum, copper, brass. I'm going to throw that down so as to not hurt everybody's ears again. Here's the regular metal. There's the coils out of the welder that I took apart. Down there's where the copper was on that lower section. But the rest of it's aluminum wrapped around that iron, so no point in breaking that down for the aluminum. Too much labor. Sun is starting to set. Probably have, what, 30 minutes left? Okay, nice looking clean piece right there on top. Looking at the bottom of this thing, there's a large nut going through there. How large is large? Well, it's just as large as the other one we took off earlier. Only this one's not under any spring tension. All right, okay, it came off real quick. Huh. I said no spring tension, but that washer certainly took a leap. Yeah, it's shaped like a Pringle potato chip. So it's supposed to put just enough drag on this table so when you turn it back and forth it isn't too sloppy. Let me get my Pee-wee hammer, see if I can't bop this bolt. Okay, don't want to put you through all that noise. Hold on. All right, well, there's a couple more Phillips screws, I guess that might be contributing to this not wanting to come off. Oh, we got a fighter. That's the first one that put up some resistance as far as Phillips screws go. I'm thinking I got another wall hanger here. Come back here. There. I think that'd be a half decent wall hanger. Instead of typical, you know, license plates, let's mix it up. Instead of typical signage, let's take things that are signage in their own right, but industrial off of pieces of machines. So I think I'm going to go ahead and hang those on the wall. Maybe keep my eyes out for other such things. Makes it the sting of the when you buy something a little easier, saying, well, I know I'll get some copper out of it, some aluminum out of it, and oh yeah, I can take that faceplate and hang it on the wall. Okay, maybe I have to take this. I don't know. Don't know what's holding it right now. It's rocking. Like I said, I took the nut off of it and I hit it with the hammer a couple of times. Could it be that something threaded in from the top as well? No, it looks like a blank. I mean, that could very well be the top of that nut, but there's no hex on it or no slot in it. I could go get a bigger hammer. But like I say, it's a puzzle in reverse, so I want to see if there's something I need to figure out before I start whaling on it. Be Waylon Jennings. You know what? I'm going to whale on it. So let me put you on standby. It's going to get loud. I'm going to go get the big hammer. I think that's a pretty impressive little hammer there, an S-wing. Well, like I said, I don't want you to have to hear all the bang, clang, bang, so hold on. Well, I hit it with the big bopper, and it did drive it. And then, of course, it had to do a flip off the table. Virtual swan dive. And now I am seeing a octagon shape. There was just so much dirt, sawdust in there, I couldn't tell. So this socket doesn't fit in there, so I hope it's not that size. I would need a thin wall. Well, let's grab 23 and 22. And I'm not even saying it's threaded in there. I'm just saying maybe if I can get it to rotate, maybe it would slide out. That's not fitting on there either, so it's starting to look like it takes a thin wall of some sort. If it ain't 21, let's try 21. No, yeah, you need a thin wall socket. These are impact. The walls tend to be a little thicker on them. So anyway, I think I took it far enough. You stuck with me this long. Thank you for watching. Give a like and subscribe. Secondhand Dan wants to hear from you in the comments. So peace out, everybody.